This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening everyone and welcome to Southern Cross News. A 57-year-old man has died after a serious crash on the Bass Highway near Deloraine today. Police believe the driver was attempting to overtake a truck when he lost control, colliding head-on with another truck.
Police say two cars were attempting to overtake a truck on the Bass Highway around 11 this morning when tragedy struck.
The second vehicle has also attempted to overtake, but unfortunately has seen another truck coming in the other direction. He's braked, lost control of his vehicle, slewed across the road and into the path of the westbound truck.
A 57-year-old Hobart man died at the scene, while the driver of the truck was uninjured. Speed is not believed to be a factor while conditions on the road were clear. Traffic along the highway was diverted while police gathered evidence.
We'll be looking at things such as crash cam and vehicle cams, which a lot of trucks have these days, which should give us a very clear picture on what happened.
Police remained on scene throughout the day investigating the cause of the crash. They're pleading with motorists to be more patient on the roads.
Drive with attention, take your time. It's not worth rushing to get home if you're not going to get there.
Police are appealing for anyone else with information to come forward. A report will be prepared for the coroner. Sean McComish, Southern Cross News.
A riot at Risdon Prison this morning has led to the hospitalisation of 5 staff and for the prison to be sent into lockdown. Our reporter Michelle Wisby has more.
5 Risdon prison officers have been taken to hospital after a riot broke out here at the facility this morning. Police arriving on the scene at 10 a.m, saying a group of 4 alleged offenders had assaulted staff. The department says the incident was initiated by a non-compliant prisoner. The 5 staff have been taken to hospital as a precaution, 2 with minor injuries. The union says being a prison guard always had an element of danger.
The response by the prison management today has been excellent. They've taken the situation in control. They've provided a lot of support both to inmates who this is disruptive to and to officers.
But that there is a problem with overcrowding at the prison.
The prison is under a lot of pressure. The occupancy rates are incredibly high and have been for quite some time, but I don't think we should ever see that as an excuse.
Investigations are still ongoing, but the prison has now returned back to normal operations.
22 new hospital beds will soon be ready for patients at the Hobart Repatriation Hospital, with hopes the $7 million upgrade will take pressure off the overflowing emergency department. The ward used to be office space but has now been completely gutted and rebuilt to be fit for purpose. 50 hospital staff to begin work when it opens in July. The new facility will be for subacute patients, those who do not need a bed at the Royal Hobart Hospital but are not ready to go home.
Clinicians will be able to make decisions about allocating patients here who are in the subacute group, which will take stress off the Royal, freeing up acute beds for more patients.
The Minister also announcing today that an additional 9 beds will be opened at the Royal by the end of the week. Artist Mike Parr has returned to the surface after spending 3 days locked in a chamber underneath a road in Hobart. The Dark Mofo performance drew audiences from across the globe, while hundreds gathered to catch a glimpse of the intriguing work.
Exiting his subterranean home, performance artist Mike Parr last night returning to the surface after spending 72 hours alone in a chamber underneath the road. Hundreds of Dark Mofo guests packed into Macquarie Street to see the 72-year-old ascend from the room. Then walking straight inside amid a round of applause from the crowd, even a few cheeky calls for an encore.
Really unusual, and obviously all the cars got to drive over it, like we drove over it today. So yeah, it was just really exciting.
I think it's good for the city, so we've been to a few different things tonight and so we'd stop here and have a look.
A sketch pad and pencils, a meditation stool, bedding and water, all he had for the 3 days. The anxiety of the artist's disappearance, the point of the piece. And once it was all over, the audience left to ponder its meaning, before work immediately started to get the road back to normal. The box will remain underground and filled with concrete, the road resealed on top. The room and its contents to act as a time capsule for future generations.
Well, it would be pretty lonely down there, I'd imagine. He'd be pretty, I reckon he'd be glad to get out with no perception of time, so it'd be interesting.
Mike Parr will speak at the University of Tasmania's Art School in Hobart about the performance tomorrow. Michelle Wisby, Southern Cross News.
A new biosecurity pest has been discovered on a beach at Orford in the state's southeast. The soft shell clam was found following a storm event at the Prosser River. The Department of Primary Industries is now investigating. The creature is considered a pest because of its potential to change marine environments. There are indications the clams may have been present for some time. The exact source of the incursion is not yet known. 2 Tasmanian winemakers have been named Young Guns of Wine tonight, taking out the awards at a ceremony at Mona. Jonathan Hughes from Mewstone Wines was named the Best New Act at the awards, he and his brother deciding to establish their vineyard at Flowerpot just 2 years ago. Gilly and Paul Lipscomb from Huon Valley's Sailor Seeks Horse Vineyard named Winemaker's Choice, the winner voted by the 12 finalists. Ricky E. Evans from Two Tone Tasmania was also named as a finalist. Uber has officially hit the road in Launceston and the northwest, with the first trip taking off today. Around 40 drivers have already signed up with the ride-sharing service, which took its first bookings this afternoon.
To sign up for Uber for quite a while. I was just waiting for it to get to Launceston. I think it's a good experience and something good and new for the community.
The company says 40,000 people have previously opened the app in the region, hoping to book a ride. Tasmanians have taken part in a candlelight vigil tonight, joining thousands of people across Australia to remember murdered comedian Eurydice Dixon. Ms Dixon was attacked walking home through a Melbourne park last week, a story that went on to shake the nation. Crowds gathered in parks in Launceston and Hobart to show their solidarity, lighting candles and showing support.
What we need is people to start focusing on the perpetrators and not the victims. We don't need to hear that, we shouldn't drink, we shouldn't walk alone, we should carry a mobile phone.
The ideal here is that people would do the right thing, and that people would also do the right thing if they saw something wasn't okay. And the more people we have doing those things, the less harm will happen in the community.
The service saying 80% of women have reported being harassed on the street. Paralympian Dylan Alcott is inspiring the next generation of tennis players. Today, presenting a $10,000 grant to a school on behalf of ANZ Hotshots. The program uses smaller courts and lower nets, giving kids with disabilities an opportunity to play the sport.
You meet friends, you get fit, you run around, and you have a good time. And I think able-bodied people sometimes take that for granted. So to see the smiling faces of all these kids here today, they're pretty good at tennis as well. They were smashing balls at me. So yeah, it was really cool to come down.
The grant will be put towards a new tennis court for the school. Hobart's potential to be a gateway to the Antarctic has been realised. The city's growing science capabilities and resources have been acknowledged in a new federal government report released today. The close proximity to Antarctica has allowed Tasmania to become a key destination for the Antarctic sector, with Hobart as a useful research spot. The report also states that future plans such as the government's $1.5 billion development at Macquarie Point Precinct will continue the city's growth as an international science hub. It's been an institution in Tasmania for more than 100 years, and now, after a massive show of support, Waverley Woolen Mill is preparing for its next chapter. It hopes to increase its international exports and next year reopen its doors to the public.
This is Tassie's home for wool manufacturing.
We've got the black again, the blues.
And it's preparing to spin a new chapter. This time last year, the 144-year-old institution was unsure of its future, and it didn't know if its product was still appreciated. But a crowdfunding campaign over summer proved it's as vibrant as ever. Donations came in from 20 countries and $160,000 was raised to keep the mill weaving and buy it tons of wool.
It just shows people want to see manufacturing stay in the country, and this great old institution to keep running and to produce the product that we're doing.
And now the mill plans to reinvigorate itself.
Locally, we want to open the mill back up to the public. So our plan is to accept tours again, renovate part of the building to bring a small cafe in and a shop, and open it up to the tourism base.
Third-year School of Architecture students are helping make the tourism vision a reality. They have spent the last 6 weeks designing concept ideas, incorporating the old with what could be the new.
I think this new building will draw a whole new group of people through and it'll be really good for Launceston.
The mill plans to choose one of the designs as the foundation for its proposed new cafe and store. The project aiming to give more people an insight into the country's oldest mill.
There's no other place like it in Australia, so it's really good for tourism, I reckon.
But it also gives us another revenue stream that we can use to help build the business.
If all goes to plan, the site could be reopened to the public by next September. Monika Dadson at Southern Cross News.
Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market has recovered from early weakness to eke out a tiny gain despite fears of a US-China trade war and lower commodity prices weighing upon mining and energy stocks. The ASX 200 index has risen by 10.1 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 74.47 US cents and 107.21 New Zealand cents.
Clarence skipper Brady Jones says his side doesn't deserve to be labelled as flag favourites just yet, despite getting the better of the competition's #1 side. Jones has also defended the umpiring after the Roos were awarded a controversial late free kick. This was the decision which left the North Launceston faithful feeling hard done by, with Ryan Bailey's late major sealing the 2-point win.
I did hear a bit of that probably 5 seconds after the siren went as well, so they weren't happy. I think it was pretty even both ways. I don't know what the free kick count was, but I think it was pretty even both ways.
The loss was just the Bombers' second this year, but unlike their round 3 clash with Glenorchy, the Red and Black were at full strength on Saturday, prompting fresh debate around premiership favouritism.
We've had something like 13 guys play their first game, a senior footy at TSL level, and to be in the position we are with that many debutants is very pleasing.
Reluctant to buy into the hype, a top 3 finish come September remains the main goal, but based on recent form, the Roos may end up exceeding even themselves.
The massive edge that you need, you have, well, I don't think anyone's won it from 4th or 5th, so that's what we're here for, is to win the flag at the end. And
to soccer and Launceston City coach Jez Kent denies having title tunnel vision despite his club's 4-0 win over the Rangers, which sees them undefeated and 6 points clear of South Hobart and Devonport on the ladder.
We haven't played the traditional top 4 yet, so our run in now is the challenge. Getting points from here on is going to be really hard.
And the votes are in for the Player of the Year in the TSL after round 12. With star Glenorchy forward Jay Bowden's 5-goal effort enough to earn him the 3 votes against North Hobart. Another strong showing from Troy Cunliffe saw him judged best on in the Roos' thrilling win over North Launceston. And Lauderdale big man Alex Hill was the standout in his side's 24-point win over the Tigers. To the leaderboard now, and Ryan Bailey remains on top with 10 votes, with Glenorchy's Daniel Joseph 1 vote behind, and Jake Cox, Sharon Egger and Taylor Whitford tied for 3rd on 8 votes. And finally in sport, Richie Porte has cemented his status as a true contender for next month's Tour de France in what he's described as the biggest victory of his career. The Tasmanian are blitzing a world-class field overnight to be crowned the 2018 Tour de Suisse champion. This was Richie Porte a year ago after one of the most brutal Tour de France crashes in recent times, and this was him in Switzerland overnight, standing tall on top of the Tour de Suisse podium.
I came here with the goal of, trying to win the race, but I guess, winning the team time trial, and then the guys did such a fantastic job all week, and to win this race, it means a lot to me.
After an impressive week in the saddle, the 33-year-old finished more than a minute clear on the overall standings, despite less than ideal preparation, thanks to another special moment for the Tasmanian.
It's good signs. I mean, I haven't raced since Tour of Romandy. I was at home for the birth of my son 2 weeks ago. I've only had one night at home with him.
And with just a few weeks until cycling's biggest race, Porte looks right on track to overcome the demons of 2017 and take it right up to the sport's most elite, but not before some well-earned time with the new family.
It's great for me to get to go home for a bit of time, a bit of a training camp, and I think I can be better at the Tour de France.
Good evening. I think we're definitely settling into winter. Temperatures below average today. Hobart 10, Launceston and Devonport 13. Burnie's 14 was the high around the state today. A few showers persisted over the south and east with cloudy weather for most of Tasmania. King Island, Smithton and Ouse 13. Flinders Island, Low Head and St Helens 12 degrees. Grove and Strawn 11. Lyreweenie the low with -2. Now the cloud that brought the showers here to the southeast, some patchy cloud and fog over other areas of the state. The further north you went, the clearer it got. There is stratiform cloud over the Bight and some high cloud over Western Australia, but the northern half of the country is cloud free. Tomorrow, let's have a look at the chart there. A high pressure ridge will build over Tasmania due to twin centres. A cold front starts its passage over the Bight. The southeasterly winds will shift northeasterly during the day and may increase to 15 to 25 knots over the west, swells to 3 metres in southern waters. Tuesday in Hobart, mostly sunny, a cool night, 11 degrees tomorrow the top, 11 also for Adventure Bay, -3 for Tarraleah, a high of 9, a morning frost but sunny. Sunny for Launceston, 14, 13 the high for Devonport and Bridport, all clear. And for Burnie, late drizzle at times, 13 degrees, 11 the high for Strawn, Marrawar, some late drizzle and 12 degrees. Morning drizzle for St Helens and 13 the top, 13 for Swansea, drizzle at times for Whitemark and 14. On Wednesday, fine and partly cloudy, apart from showers over the north of the state. Showers over the north and west on Thursday, just a slight possibility over the south, but mostly fine there. And on Friday, showers over the north and west extending to the south in the afternoon. Showers in Perth tomorrow. A cloudy day forecast for Adelaide, mostly sunny in Melbourne and Brisbane, a showery day and a windy day too over Sydney, just 17. Just 8 here. Hobart, partly cloudy. Launceston, partly cloudy. A bit cooler in Devonport, 6 degrees and clear. Joe.
Ugg boot weather, let me tell you. Thank you, Murph. That's all from the team for now. Good night.